Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another housecoat chat, number 27, folks. It is Wednesday, almost 4 o'clock. Actually, it is 4 o'clock. And today I'm having a tea instead of a late afternoon coffee. And, folks, what do we got going on in Canada? What's going on? I know what's going on. We have a country that is basically running on neutral. The person in charge, who was our leader, who resigned intently, right? He's still our leader. But he's basically cruising in neutral. His hand's not even on the steering wheel. He's in the back of the motorhome thinking that cruise control is a good way to drive without having his hand on the steering wheel. Our prime minister, the coward in chief, the coward of the cottage, everything you want to call him under the sun, is being replaced by Marky Mark Carney. As Pierre Polyev would call him, carbon tax Carney. Who cares about the nicknames, folks? The fact that is being promoted that this man is going to replace Justin Trudeau after we've had a few other candidates put their names up, and the $350,000 to become the Liberal leader. Holy smokes, that went up from $75,000. And that was back in, I guess, when Justin was trying to win the leadership race way back then. All those time ago, folks. But I just want to get back to Mark Carney, the man who the media, the pundits, the influencers on X, all saying the same thing. What a breath of fresh air. We need this outsider within this country. Pierre Poilievre is a career politician. We need this outsider. Well, hell to the na-na, folks. That is correct. If you know what I mean, hell to the na-na. And if you love music, Joseph Bullwinkle, that's what I just said. Hell to the na-na is a great song. Check it out. You will like it. You like the blues? You'll like that song. Mark is an outsider. Yes, he is an outsider, folks. He has been outside influencing our government for the past few months. Since what, August? Ever since he was brought in as a special advisor, right? And folks, while we are rudderless, leaderless, and nobody behind the wheel driving in neutral, I don't know why, as Canadians, we are not more up in arms about the fall economic update that wasn't updated and given to the public for us to consume so that we can realize how deeply, deeply in debt this country is and how far down the hole we have gone, right? We have gone down this rabbit hole of debt. Uh, it's amazing from what I've read. I have not absolutely 100% confirmed it, but Justin Trudeau has borrowed more money than all the other prime ministers combined since the start of the Dominion of Canada. That is an astonishing fact. The fact that nobody really seems to clue in that our dollar's sinking, right? Our purchasing power is getting less and less. The cost of owning a home is going up and up. And, like I'll just give a shout out to quality here. These fancy little doodad lights that I bought, the batteries are already shot. And the fact that they're stuck on the wall and you got to peel it off, right? I mean, you can only do it once, right? And then they're kind of ruined. Anyways, I'm just pointing out that, there's a couple lights that are out and I need a bunch of batteries, AAA. I've replaced them. But the fact that it's sticky tape against the wall and the cover, yeah, it's not looking good. So I'll probably be making more changes in my studio again, make it look presentable, and hopefully, people don't point out my flaws. Yes, I got a couple lights out. I just didn't bring enough batteries down with me. I wanted to talk about Mark. Still want to talk about Mark because there's some important things. And yes, shout out to Yellowstone. Got a free coffee mug. Dutton Ranch, folks. I love that show. Great series. Great series. Landman is also a great show. Same writer, right? Anyway, back to Marky Mark. This outsider, this former Bank of Canada, the Mr. Bank of England, helped craft Germany's environmental policy. And let's just touch on Germany here for a second. They blew up nuclear reactors, brought in wind and solar, Then the war started, then the cheap gas didn't come in, and then all of a sudden energy prices skyrocketed. But they had the best thing in the world with nuclear energy. I know there's a huge stigma with nuclear, but they had good, reliable energy that was basically renewable, and they blew them up. Now they're burning coal. That's Germany. And Mark Carney had a hand in all of it, folks. He did, just like in Canada. Remember the heat pump stuff, folks? The heat pumps, you got a rebate or a grant or whatever. You got to jump through all these hoops to get this heat pump installed into your house. And if you read the paperwork for those heat pumps, they have to come in and inspect them, and then they want further, um, how do I put it, into your life by monitoring you and your heat pump, the government. No, I don't want any of that. But the heat pump business, folks, and this is very important, and I want you to remember about Marky Mark, Mr. Carbon Tax Carney, is he is a huge investor in a HVAC company that makes heat pumps, which so happens to be one of the rebate recipients for heat pumps within Canada. Go figure, right? Another thing about Marky Mark, and I'm going to keep calling him Marky Mark because all you pundits out there, all you media influencers that I've seen, guys don't make it organic. It's not organic how you're typing Mark Carney, outsider, breath of fresh air. Oh, a weight's been lifted off my chest since Mark is going to enter the race. He hasn't officially entered the race, folks, but we already have the people pumping him out, right? Jon Stewart show. Everybody's, oh, look, he went on Jon Stewart and had 1 million views in an hour or in a day. Well, excuse me, the Jordan Peterson Pierre Polyev video, 41 million views after a day. So, Mark Carney, I'm going to be polite, I didn't call him Marky Mark, versus Pierre Polyev. If you were to do views, Pierre beat him 40 times over. The fact that Mark used Jon Stewart, who back in the day in the 90s, last century, early 2000, was a godsend of humor and poking the bear and making it obvious that our government is a dingling. Still is, but at least Jon Stewart was brave enough and funny enough to point it out for us back in the day. Mark, after this interview, Mark Carney said this: I think I got my money's worth. He is implying that he paid for the chance to be on the Jon Stewart show, an American show, an American network, which is in Canada if you have cable or the internet. Oops, look at that. I just sprung out my oh well. Anyways, I was trying to add some more lights on my bear skull there. Yes, he trying to go on American networks to get promoted or to, appease or ease the American audience of what's coming into Canada because somehow Pierre is bad. And Mark is slamming Pierre in the most, I guess, junior high way ever. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the video, the interview was pretty good between Mr. Stewart and Mr. Carney, but at the end of the day, it seemed forced. It seemed unnatural. And yes, he is trying to become relatable to the Canadian public, but you went on an American show. Why couldn't you have gone on to, like, I'll use it as an example. I know you would never do it, Mark, but the Northern Perspective. Would you get interviewed by the pleb? Stephen Boots? Would you do any of those things? Would you go on the Raging Dissident? No, I know that would never happen, but you know what I mean. Mark Carney is an installed ivory tower WEF puppet that is going to be shoved down our throats. And I mean it, folks. And I'm going to tell you how this might go down. So if you remember this episode and me speaking, and I don't have much of an audience, but I am getting it out there because it's live and I might bookmark it just to say, I told you so. And this is very important. So listen very carefully. We already know there's a few people running for the leadership race of the Liberal Party. Now, let's go back in the summer and the American side. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up because the similarities are going to be huge. Joe Biden was supposed to go against Orange Man Bad. Orange Man Bad thumped him in a debate. Then the media turned on Joe Biden. And all of a sudden, even though the primaries were done and they've already selected Joe Biden as they're running for the Democratic ticket for the United States election, they went ahead and decided that Kamala will replace Joe without any input from the people on the grassroots, the party ticket holders, you know what I mean? The guys that actually vote for all these people to get up there. So the Democrat Party, very similar to what they did with Bernie Sanders, is they didn't really have a process. They just made Hillary the queen and Bernie was kicked aside. Well, Joe was kicked to the curb. He had a cold, should have never had a debate, but that debate happened way too early. Think about that, folks. It happened too early because the company that keeps Biden in power and that run everything, just like in Canada, we have a deep state. It is there. We know it's there. You know it's there. And we need to end it. But back to Joe and that. So Joe is out. So, in any other normal circumstances, you would probably run another primary to pick somebody. You should, right? They selected Kamala. Selected. She didn't even make it in 2016 to like the final four. Remember Tulsi or Goddard, however you say my name, crushed her during that debate. Crushed her. That's 2015 time, whatever, long time ago. But let's get back to Mark. So now we have a couple people that are attempting to run, throwing their name in, even including Karina Gould. Oh, please don't let that woman win. I'll take Mark over her any day. But Mark is going to be selected. It's not going to matter who is also running. Because if you look at the bylaws of the Liberal Party, and I kind of have, they've made a few changes. So now apparently no permanent residents or whatever, like outsiders of Canada can no longer vote. But 14-year-olds can still vote. And a few other things. They want Carney. Carney is too much embedded into the WEF ivory tower people, the neoliberal world order, new world order, folks. Yes, that is the correct word. They are trying to make a one world governance in a way where we're all basically ruled by one. It's a long process. The European Union has started. Look at Trump talking about uniting all of North America. That has been in the talks since the like 1990s. And yet, back to Mark again. I know I keep kind of going off on little side quests, but everything I've mentioned all ties into what's going on. Mark is going to be selected. And once he's selected, as the new party leader, Justin Trudeau steps down, the Queen, I mean, not the Queen, sorry, the Governor General, the appointee from the King of England, so hard to say, since the Queen Elizabeth, God rest her soul, there's a stone. That's for her, despite what you like about her or whatever. She was a decent lady. Remember, folks, that's going up there is lit for anybody who's lost a loved one, or me personally. I just light it. I'll hopefully keep having tea lights, and I'll keep lighting it. That is a reminder that it's a shout out to you if you lost a loved one. It's also for anybody in my life that I've lost, and it's just a reminder and a little bit of a boost. I like to think that those that have passed on are still hanging around somehow and giving us a hand. I do believe so. Yes, folks, Mark Carney is going to be selected. And the Governor General is going to appoint him. So this might happen in about late April, early May. So after the proroguing's done, Mark Carney's already talking to Jagmeet Singh. He's not even the leader yet, folks. That's why I say the fix is in and he's being selected. So the Governor General will make him the Prime Minister. And he could, if he want to, prorogue government again until the election date in October, our fixed date. But as citizens, we need to say no, no, nay, nay. We want an election yesterday. But that's the way this country is being torn apart right now and led blindly. Nobody's talking about the fact that the fall economic update has been not really presented. The amount of deficit that we have, the amount of money we are spending, no new money for the mental health aspect. That, according to my MP, Todd Doherty. Yes, he is my MP, and I bug him lots on X. Shout out to him. Thank you for doing your job, but my hands are still going to hold your feet to the fire. Yeah, that's never going to stop. Thank you for doing that in the House the other day. I heard you, and thankfully somebody is speaking up for people who need help with their mental health issues. That is correct. Marky Mark cannot, I repeat, cannot become the Prime Minister of Canada, but he will be selected and put in place by the Ivory Tower people. Yes, it's going to happen. Mark my words. And folks, I'm going to say this is about it. I try to keep my shows not too long and not too short, but everything about Marky Mark I said is pretty much true. Don't really take my word for it. After all, I'm a dude in a housecoat. And do your own research, do your own reading. Look into it, folks. Remember the name Michael Ignatoff, a former outsider trying to get in. It's a repeat in history, folks. Anyway, positive vibes to all of you people. If you have a chance, go visit the SPCA. You don't have to adopt one, but there may be a little fur ball that connects with you. And if your heart is open, accept that little fur ball. Thank you guys and have a good night.